The defendant was confident. He talked nonstop. He argued, explained, and tried to control the situation. Then the officer calmly said one sentence. "Let's play the video." The room changed instantly. The officer pressed play, and within seconds, the defendant stopped talking. His face went blank. His body language collapsed. This video wasn't just evidence, it was the moment everything fell apart. In this case, one recording said more than hours of excuses, and once it started playing, there was nothing left to argue. Cases like this happen more often than people realize. Many defendants believe that if they talk enough, they can explain their way out of trouble. They think confidence equals innocence. But modern law enforcement doesn't rely only on words anymore. Cameras are everywhere: body cams, dash cams, security cameras, and phone recordings. This case shows exactly why silence can be powerful and why evidence doesn't care about opinions. Once the video starts, the truth speaks for itself. That's why this moment is so important to understand. The most important thing to understand about this case is that it did not fall apart because of shouting, force, or intimidation. It fell apart because of confidence mixed with ignorance. From the very beginning, the defendant believed that talking was power. He believed that if he controlled the conversation, corrected the officer, explained his version of events, and filled every silence, he could shape reality itself. This belief is extremely common. Many people grow up thinking that if you explain yourself clearly enough, people will understand you. But the legal system does not work on understanding feelings. It works on facts, timelines, and evidence. The defendant did not realize that every word he spoke was being mentally recorded, analyzed, and compared against something much stronger than memory: video footage. The defendant's first trait was overconfidence. He spoke quickly, without hesitation, and with certainty. Overconfidence often comes from believing you are smarter than the system or that rules only apply to people who don't know how to argue. This type of person often watches courtroom clips online and believes they have learned the tricks. They think officers are required to explain everything, that asking questions gives them control, and that confidence equals innocence. What they fail to understand is that officers are trained to let people talk. Silence from an officer is not weakness. It is patience. Every statement a person makes locks them into a version of events. The more they speak, the harder it becomes to adjust their story later. Another critical trait we see is the need for dominance. The defendant repeatedly tried to take control of the interaction. He interrupted, corrected wording, questioned authority, and attempted to frame the situation as unfair. This behavior is often driven by fear, even if it looks like confidence on the surface. When people feel their freedom is threatened, they try to regain control through speech. The defendant was not talking to clarify. He was talking to dominate. Unfortunately for him, dominance means nothing when evidence exists. The officer, by contrast, showed a completely different set of traits: calmness, stillness, neutral tone. No emotional reaction. This is not accidental. Officers are trained to avoid emotional escalation because emotion clouds judgment. While the defendant believed the conversation itself was the battlefield, the officer already knew the real battlefield was evidence. The officer did not need to argue. He did not need to accuse. He simply needed to wait for the right moment. That moment came when the officer referenced the video. Notice how carefully this was done. There was no dramatic announcement. No threat. Just a simple statement that footage existed. This is important because it shows confidence without aggression. The officer already knew what the video showed. He also knew the defendant did not fully understand how damaging it would be. This imbalance of knowledge is crucial. The defendant believed he was explaining events the officer had not seen. In reality, he was contradicting something already recorded. When the officer pressed play, everything changed instantly. This is where psychology takes over. Seeing yourself on video is different from being accused. Accusations can be denied. Videos cannot. The human brain reacts strongly to undeniable proof. When the defendant saw the footage, his mind went into shock. His earlier confidence had nowhere to go. The story he built with words collapsed in seconds. This is why he stopped talking. Silence in this moment is not calm. It is panic turned inward. The defendant's brain began racing. He was replaying everything he had already said. He realized his words were now evidence. He realized the officer did not need him anymore. This is one of the most important lessons in law enforcement interactions. Once evidence exists, talking only helps the prosecution. The defendant's body language told the rest of the story. His posture changed. His eyes dropped. His movements slowed. This physical collapse is common when someone realizes they are caught. Confidence disappears because confidence requires belief in control. The video removed control completely. From this point on, the defendant was reacting, not leading. Another major trait revealed here is misunderstanding rights. Many people know they have the right to remain silent, but they don't understand when that right matters most. Silence after speaking too much is often too late. The defendant believed he could talk first and stop later. What he didn't understand is that early statements framed the entire case. Once he committed to a story, the video exposed every flaw. Silence only arrived after the damage was done. This case also highlights how memory fails under pressure. The defendant likely believed his version of events. Humans are excellent at convincing themselves of convenient truths. But cameras do not forget. Cameras do not reinterpret. They do not feel stress. They simply record. The difference between human memory and digital evidence is devastating in court. When the video contradicts a person's words, juries trust the video. The officer's decision to press play instead of continuing the conversation was strategic brilliance. Many people think officers aim to provoke confessions. In reality, the strongest cases require no confession at all. Confessions can be challenged. Videos rarely are. By allowing the video to speak, the officer avoided arguments, accusations, and potential mistakes. The truth was already documented. Once the video existed, every earlier statement the defendant made became a liability. Prosecutors later used this sequence to show intent, awareness, and deception. The defendant's confidence before the video and silence after it created a powerful contrast. This contrast alone can influence juries. It tells a story without words. Confident when lying, silent when confronted with truth. Another key trait revealed is the illusion of intelligence. The defendant likely believed that sounding smart was the same as being legally smart. These are not the same thing. Legal intelligence is knowing when not to speak. It is knowing that you cannot outtalk evidence. The defendant confused articulation with protection. This mistake cost him everything. The video also removed any room for emotional persuasion. Judges and juries are instructed to rely on evidence, not sympathy. The defendant's explanations, no matter how emotional or logical they sounded, could not compete with footage. Once the video played, the case stopped being about what he said and became about what he did. As the case moved forward, the damage compounded. Defense attorneys now had to work around not just the video, but the defendant's own words. Statements that once sounded confident were now proven false. This makes defense strategy extremely difficult. It's not just about denying actions anymore. It's about explaining lies. This moment also teaches a broader lesson about modern life. We live in a world where almost everything is recorded. People still behave as if words can override reality. They cannot. Cameras have changed the balance of power completely. The defendant acted like it was his word versus the officer's. It was never that. It was his words versus a recording. The officer's restraint deserves special attention. He did not celebrate. He did not confront aggressively. He did not lecture. This professionalism matters. Overconfidence on either side can ruin cases. The officer understood that the goal was not to win an argument, but to document truth. By staying calm, he allowed the defendant to self-destruct verbally. Another psychological factor here is delayed realization. The defendant did not stop talking immediately when the video was mentioned. He stopped when it started playing. This shows denial. Many people believe evidence won't be as bad as it is. They assume there will be a gap, an angle, or a missing moment. When reality appears on screen, denial collapses instantly. The silence that followed was not strategic silence. It was helpless silence. True legal silence happens before statements are made. This silence came too late. By the time the defendant stopped talking, his earlier words had already sealed his fate. In court, this moment was replayed multiple times. The prosecution highlighted the contrast. The defense struggled to explain it. Silence after evidence looks like guilt, even if legally it should not. Jurors are human. They notice behavior. The defendant's reaction became part of the story. Ultimately, this case is not about one bad decision. It is about a pattern of misunderstandings. Misunderstanding authority, misunderstanding rights, misunderstanding evidence, and misunderstanding silence. The defendant believed talking was protection. The officer knew evidence was protection. The moment the officer pressed play, the truth took control. Words became irrelevant. Arguments died. Confidence vanished. What remained was reality, captured in real time, impossible to debate. And that is why the defendant stopped talking, not because he chose wisdom, but because wisdom arrived too late. In the end, there was no dramatic arrest, no shouting, and no final argument. There was only a screen, a video, and silence. The officer didn't need to raise his voice or prove a point. He simply pressed play and let the truth do the talking. The defendant, who once filled the room with words, had nothing left to say. Not because he suddenly understood the law, but because reality had finally caught up with him. This case reminds us that confidence without knowledge is dangerous, and talking without thinking can cost everything. In a world where cameras are always watching, your words are no longer just explanations. They can become evidence. The moment the video started, the story stopped being about what the defendant claimed and became about what actually happened. Sometimes the most powerful sound in a courtroom isn't a gavel or a verdict. It's silence. The silence that comes when excuses run out and facts remain. And that's the moment that truly ends the case.